it before. Thank you again for coming. I'm guided today by the Lyran and the Pleiadians. As you guys know, Lyra fell, or maybe some of you guys don't know. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of history because I know that I have a lot of new people here that have probably never seen any of my channelings and have maybe aren't even really current with, the things that I talk about. Of course, my name is Ellen Red, and I am a galactic telepath and a seer. And I'm here today with the Lyrans and the Pleiadians. Lyra is a constellation, a planetary system that fell long, long ago, premortal years in the cosmos, long before anybody ever even thought of Earth. We're talking billions and billions of years ago. And so our story here on Earth actually is extremely long. We are much more ancient than we've been taught to believe. And we, at least the souls on Earth are. And there's also souls and collectives that have come into the Earth plane now that have come from other planetary systems also to assist Earth. The Lyrans constellation fell due to interference with predator beings or fallen angelic beings billions of years ago. In that system, those beings that lived in Lyra ended up having to scatter into other planetary systems. And this created a little bit of hybridization of beings over time. And then as we came onto the Earth plane, we also began to deal with some fallen angelic interference here. And these are the fallen Anunnakis. So just so you know, when we talk about Anunnakis, there are positives and negatives. The fallen Anu Elohim Anunnakis are the beings who have really infiltrated this planet, as well as many others. And they're very highly intelligent beings that we are now having to learn about and rediscover within ourselves as a collective of humanity if we are going to actually save this planet. And a lot of souls who have lived in other constellations saw from the higher realms what was happening on Earth and what was about to happen, which is that the planet was about to be annihilated. And many chose to come in and rescue the planet. Now, there's been a lot of discussion by the Galactic Federation of Light and other Guardian Alliances and different types of soul groups throughout the cosmos. There are many, many, many groups of collectives of beings, many that work for the light and many that do not. And we're dealing with a whole bunch of that playing out in our Earth plane now. And so the Lyrans are coming in. The Lyrans and Pleiadians are both here. So I have one on each side of me that's kind of like my guides today to assist you guys with this transmission so that we can get guidance from them in terms of what we're experiencing on Earth and where to go forward. For those of you that are brand new to my channel, I want you to understand as much as a lot of these conversations might seem woo-woo to you, many people who have gone through spiritual awakenings or galactivated or indigo souls that have come into the Earth actually are not just woo-woo beings. Many of us have college degrees and have spent our lives as scholars and other types of skills that we have on a human 3D level. But we're also much broader than that. We have memories of other timelines, of other lifetimes. We are fully, fully embodied with our DNA and our soul memories. And so when we're bringing information like this into you, even if you don't understand what we're talking about, it's really helpful for you if you can try to keep an open mind and understand that the way that we gain this kind of activation in our DNA and in our etheric bodies is that we have developed intellectual abilities to basically crack the cosmic code. So there's a lot to be said about the kind of wisdom that a soul has coded into them when you look on the outside world from a 3D perspective, you may just see some old person or some toothless person or whatever it is. But when you really feel into the vibration of that soul and the things that they're saying, you need to understand that if they got that kind of wisdom, they really, really developed it through a lot of other capabilities. So I just like to put that out there because I know that a lot of people think that it's Looney Tunes and things like that. Now, our collectives of the family of light, we know better. But I just want to put that out there for anybody who's new or who's watching with, a lot of doubts and cynicism that, I have a background in journalism, investigative journalism. I've spent my entire life as a scholar. I have several college degrees, and I was also born an intuitive psychic indigo soul with activated 12-strand DNA. And so I'm just putting that out there for you. But anyway, back to the subject of the Lyrans, and what we're talking about today is that they really want to impress upon anybody that's listening to this message that right now we are really needing to go into more shadow. I know nobody wants to hear about that because the shadow aspects are the things that are scary, that are kind of ugly to look at, that are hard to face, that are complicated. And we're not talking about just the individual shadow self. We're talking about both the collective shadow as well as the galactic shadow. So what they're talking to me about today is that we are in a stage where we're clearing galactic shadow body. We have karma in our planetary system, and we also have galactic karma. And right now, that's where we're at, is we're clearing and we're closing some of the portals. So this is happening with a lot of assistance from the Christ avatar beings that came in from other planetary systems, because when we talk about opening portals into other dimensions, this is very much a part of what you need to go through in your ascension as a soul goes through enlightenment and returns back to source. This is actually happening to a small group of beings who have returned back to source and then come back into the earth plane to assist the humans. Um, but when it comes to portals, one of the things that they want you guys to know right now is that the beings who are, these are like the Magi Grail Christed beings that are here on Earth to assist with a really massive mission, that they are also closing portals to the lower world. So there's things that we need to do, and so I'm trying to just keep all of my thoughts as clear and succinct as possible for you guys, but I got a little thrown off by the whole YouTube difficulty getting on. So let me backtrack a little for you. And they also want me to tell you first a little bit about a scientific understanding of energy itself, and why this matters so much, and why the twin flames and other collectives of beings are here doing energetic work, what that means to us, and how we can tie it together with science through what's called sonar waves. Sonar waves have been being used by negative ETs to throw the earth off of balance, and which also, when the earth gets off kilter, it causes pole shifts. We've talked about this with Nibiru and the Nibiruian beings that came in to cause pole shifts on this planet. They do that on purpose. It's a technology that they used, a very, very, very advanced technology to kind of wipe out collectives of beings, because they want to be able to control things on this planet. And when there gets to be too many and they get too smart, then they use pole shifting to create what you could call a baptism of the earth. And it's not a positive thing. It's not coming from source. And so a lot of the groups that came into this particular timeline on Earth came in knowing about the upcoming attempts to have a pole shift. And they came in to stop that from happening. But again, they're using the sonar waves and the sonar technology, as well as chelantic science. When you start to understand that, it's actually a way for you to understand the scientific proof, and the scientific proof behind the matter of spirit, because spirit is a thing. It is real and it can be measured. And one of the ways that it's measured is through sonar waves. And sonar waves is a technology that the governments and high-level beings who are working with the Greys and the Zetas and the Draconians, and they're very well aware of the fact that there is a scientific proof of spirit, something that has caused a lot of confusion in humanity and a lot of people having difficulty trusting in themselves and in the spirit world because they don't know how to work it out through their mental body. And so, but there actually is a way to prove that it exists, and science is starting to kind of come into this awareness, at least the lower level ones who didn't know that it existed. Now, the high level beings, who I would call the key men, are very well aware of these technologies. They've actually received them from ETs, and they use them to I have to be careful of everything that I say because of this forum and every other one, but they use them essentially to manipulate the etheric body. Okay, because they know how to measure the etheric body. They also know how to manipulate the etheric body. And they also have manipulated the etheric body for Gaia, for Earth, and also for Terra. And they are so when that happens, it actually affects the DNA of every living being on the planet. So when that calibration or biofield is off kilter for Earth, it also manipulates every being that's living on Earth because we're all interconnected. And so that's one of the reasons why we are dealing with so much distortion within the soul body and distortion within the world. And this is also something that you can now begin to understand so that you can start to work with your own biofield and your own waves, your own energy waves that flow through your body. So this is why we do so much work around the auric field and why we're doing so much work with healing the reversals in your chakra system and why we're doing so much work to even help with humanity and help with the planet itself, sound healing and other types of things that are being done. And of course, this is why the masculine, feminine, divine twin flames that are fully ascended beyond the 12th dimension are so powerful in the work that they're doing to come in and rebalance the earth itself. This is why many twin flames came into the earth plane at this time, is to help. They came from other planetary systems and had a very balanced energy there, very different from what's existing on the earth plane. And they came in as indigo souls, as advanced avatars to anchor in that frequency for Earth, to assist Earth, because Earth was getting thrown off of kilter and about ready to go into a full fall system. Now, I have a Pleiadian being here at this moment that's talking to me, and I'm just going to telepathically hear what they're saying. So give me just a moment. I hear him saying that okay, they want me to recover this because I talked about a little bit, I talked about a whole bunch of stuff in my Patreon community a few days ago, and they want me to touch on a couple of those parts here. So one of the things that they're touching on is that a lot of souls that are feeling resonant with the twin flame, one of the reasons why they're not activating or coming together or whatever is they're using a technology that I've been told is called the broken mirror technology. It's a very advanced technology by the ETs, and it's being used to cause basically like a phantom, broken mirror phantom. So not just a phantom reality, but now you've got massive aspects of phantom. So every time you turn one way or the other way or the other way or the other way, you're getting kind of caught in a soul trap in the astral realms through this broken mirror technology that they're using. And also, they just want you guys to understand too that humanity itself is not being asked to all become ascended masters at this time. That's not going to happen. That's just simply not going to happen in this timeline. What they're asking for humanity right now is that a certain percent of humanity is able to bring in 5-strand DNA frequency. So you're not being asked to activate 12-strand or higher. That's not going to happen on a collective level in this particular timeline. This particular timeline is a rescue mission, and so that humans and souls can go through their full experience of reaching all of that other evolution that can come later. They're really only asking you guys to bring in 5 strands of DNA. And 5 strands of DNA is when you're able to hold the 5D frequency. That's why so many in the collective are talking about 5D when there's actually many other dimensions. But it's 5D right now that humanity is being called to be able to jump into, quantumly jump into 5D. Well, I know that a lot of you guys watching this may not know what that means. Some of you do. And so, we can talk about that more in the future, but they do want you to understand you're not being expected to go through full ascended mastery right now. That's just some souls, a lot of souls on earth are not ready for that. But if we can get a certain collective to get into 5-strand DNA activation through being able to connect to the 5D frequency, then we'll be able to pull the planet out of the fall state that it's been in, and we're kind of getting there. So now she's talking to me, and she's saying that uh, let's see, they want to kind of address the fact that the timeline that we're in a repeat of timelines now, where basically we're kind of having to go underground again, like the Essenes have in many other timelines before. We can't speak openly. Our free speech is very, very much limited now. And it's extremely difficult to get you guys the actual information. And information, Christic information is what will heal your DNA. It comes in waveforms, and it actually can recalibrate your DNA. And so it's very difficult because we want to help you, and we're being very limited in doing so. And as you guys know, of course, we're also dealing with a lot of interference with the imposter beings that are online. I'm just going to look at a couple of your guys' questions here real fast. How do you get into the Galactic Federation where you can assist? Well, you'll be called by the Galactics. They will literally take you off planet and train you. So when you're ready for it, the teacher will show up. The key right now for you is to keep working with that 5D frequency that you're saying that you've been working with. Again, it's really hard for me because I don't have your questions up here. So let me just kind of take a look here. Give me just a second. I'm just reading a couple of them. No, Mr. Bicarlo or whatever your name is, Earth is not flat, and you're going to be blocked from my channel for name calling. We don't name call in the higher dimensions. It's a sign of how low your frequency is. It's very inappropriate to do that. And no, the Earth isn't flat or round. It's actually a biofield. It's a toro field. And so, watch your energy here. again, anybody that's saying, I want to join the Galactic Federation, well, in some ways, again, you'll be taken off a planet and you'll be very much activated when your soul is ready. And until then, you're probably part of different collectives and you just don't have your memories yet. So the key is to continue working on your soul memory, doing your soul work, and making sure that you try to hold a higher frequency within your being. So I'm going to get back to what they want to bring in for you guys, because again, you know, a collective of beings that is here right now, many collectives that are here at this time are here to help restore the Emerald Covenant on the earth. And it's a very, very tricky situation. As many of you guys know, we're dealing with lots and lots of groups of hybrid beings, some hybrids that are positive, some that are negative, some that are fallen angelic, some that aren't. And there's just so much going on in the world. It's very, I can see why it would be very difficult for a lot of you to understand what's really truth and what's not, because there have been so many fallen angelic groups that are coming in and especially infiltrating the spiritual community, as well as other areas like we've talked about with governments and religions and other things. So basically what they want me to get focused on now is what's happening in the astral, and they want you to understand that we are almost we're skipping it. We're trying to skip this timeline and jump this timeline from a collective karmic cycle, a galactic karmic cycle. This is bigger than just your personal karma or earth karma or the karma from lands. This is a galactic karmic cycle that we are having to jump on a massive scale. And there are beings that have come from many, many other planetary systems that have come in to assist it, because many of them from other planetary systems again were caught in some of these galactic wars and got scattered all over the place, and eventually ascended or descended into the earth plane for many various reasons, and are now here needing to, on a personal level and a collective level, jump this timeline. And the timeline has to do with the fall of Lyra. And the fall of Lyra, we are literally walking into a repetitive timeline and so close to being able to jump it that if we can just get a handful more of humanity to really get into that 5D frequency, we're going to be okay. Now, a lot of light workers and beings that are out there that aren't fully ascended are starting to try to tap into the 5D frequency, but they're doing that without having a connection to the clearing of the shadow body. And so it's really important also that you guys know that right now is a time for us to look at the scary things, to look at the things that are difficult to look at, and to face the truth of them. And it's very, very challenging on the earth plane, because when somebody does bring up something that's kind of shadowy that needs to be addressed, then there's 10 of them in the false light community that are bopping them over the head and silencing and condemning them for telling the truth, when that is the way that we heal. If you look at some of the SRA that's happened, or the SAing that's happened in the past, if you tell them to be quiet and don't talk about it, it doesn't heal. The only way that it heals is to bring it up to the surface and address it. Well, on a collective level right now, we're skipping into this timeline where we really need to jump it. Otherwise, planet Earth is going to be were. And that is why so many beings came here. We've seen from the other timelines the entire planet imploding, and we're here to see that this shift can happen, this big event that's coming down the line, that you on soul level are prepared for, so that your soul can make the jump into new earth when the time comes, which is very, very, very soon. And I'm sure that a lot of you guys are feeling that on a soul level somewhere within yourselves. So give me just a second. I'm going to check a couple other more messages here. Well, hi, Rima. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. When you astral travel at night, you're kind of oftentimes doing it unconsciously. And when you get into ascended states of consciousness where you have your DNA activations, you'll be able to just go wherever you want, whenever you want. It's a very different experience. So although it's nice when you're in the dream state to go through that, it's nicer when you get to be the one steering the ship. And so I'm not sure if that was kind of what you were asking there, but our dreams blocked. Oh, okay. If your dreams are blocked or you're not having a lot of dreams, your energy is blocked and you need to work on that. And you can always schedule a session with me. Um, but that's what's going on there is you're repressing a lot of stuff and it needs to be cleared. And wouldn't it be nice if clearing was just as cute as ringing a crystal bowl? That can help. Those things are beautiful. Sound healing is beautiful. There's lots of things that you can do, modalities that you can use. But if you want to get into very high level states of consciousness, you also have to get in very low, deep levels of healing, which is what we're talking about here. um, how do you jump timelines? Well, that's a whole long conversation, Tony. It's a good question because it's a deep question to answer. I'll give you some brief, basic answer today that one of the ways to jump the timeline is to learn the karmic lesson. That's why they're having us here today to talk about what happened in Lyra and for you to understand that the timeline merging right now that we're going through is that we're kind of having like this crash of timelines. The timeline of the fall of Lyra is coming in, the timeline of Atlantis is coming in. Some of the old stuff from Rome is coming in that is still unhealed and not brought to the surface, partially because of the fact that during the time of the man known as Jesus that was on the earth, after his scenario unfolded according to how they said, these teachings got taken and twisted, and basically two sides of that story came together as one and created mechanisms to hold you into a frequency trap and also false paradigm to prevent you from being able to get out of their control so that you could ascend. If you're caught in a false paradigm on an energetic level, they can keep your etheric body under wraps. And that's what we're trying to talk about here is there is a way to measure energy. There is a way to trap the soul through frequency. And again, sonar waves and scalar waves. These are scientifically proven uh, words and meanings and understandings to prove that energy is matter. And because it's matter, it can be manipulated. And you can see that happening right now, literally with the 5G, the cell towers and music, how if you turn on different types of music and different frequencies, they change your cellular makeup. And if it's changing your cells, then it's also affecting your etheric body because all of your bodies are connected. So, um, if you think that they don't already understand the science of spirit, you're fooling yourself. They understand it and they kept this from you. Okay. They very well understand it and they've kept it from you. And it's only now that many of the Majigral ascended master beings that have come on to the earth plane now to bring this forth to the collective of humanity so that these dark operatives that are kind of trying to hold all the controls, they can't have all the power anymore. We're coming in and giving it to the people. And so for those that are resonating, we're very proud of you because we only need a little bit more to get into that higher frequency. And again, when we talk about higher frequency, we're not just talking about light and love, we're talking about authenticity. You can't get into the highest frequency if you're not willing to face the lowest of low. Because if you're trying to ascend by going upwards, you're not going to get there. The light is only found in the darkest of dark. Okay. So you need to go down in there and you need to get into your shadow and into the shadow aspects of what's happening in the world. And you need to understand it so that you can access the light. Okay. And that's part of what they're doing there, is that they're taking their knowledge of the measurement of spirit, and they're using technologies, very advanced alien technologies that are being given to these governments and other beings, and they're using it to keep you in a lower dimension. And they've been doing this for a very, very, very long time. So it's not new. Now, of course, a lot of it's being rolled out, and some of it's kind of new, if you will, in the sense that they're really going on a massive level globally. Just as you saw how quick the entire planet went globally in lockdown, they have a lot of control systems now in place, not just for your physical body. Okay, that's what you need to understand, is that everything that's happening in this world right now, it's not even about your physical body. They've used your physical body and your energy for thousands and thousands of years to systematically create a control mechanism around the entire planet for their purposes. These are ET beings. And it's the timeline is happening where many of the Galactic Federation have been in roundtable discussions for a long time, but especially recently, where they have been shown in the last, I would say, 20 years. We've had many discussions in the higher dimensions about what to do on Earth for humanity. And because there's been a timeline where everything implodes, and in some of the beings, even of light, are in favor of that happening for the sake of humanity just being jumped into new Earth. That may even be the way that it unfolds. Okay, but other beings are saying no, 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 let's do it a different way. And that discussion is an ongoing discussion, because as co-creators, which each of you are, because each of you hold an aspect of God within you, each of you is co-creating this entire reality. But they, of course, have led you to believe that you didn't have any power, and so you started to co-create unconsciously to help assist their plan, because they led you down one path and you believed it. And now the job is to shift that consciousness, to shift your reality, and to shift your entire frequency, so that you can assist in the recalibration of aligning back to Christ codes. Christ codes apply to anybody, no matter what religion you are, no matter what your background is. The Christ codes simply mean that you are literally fully aligning with the spiritual laws and with the ordinances of the universe, and that you are fully in truth. Now, a lot of people think that they honor spiritual law, and then I watch them. They'll say it right to my face in the middle of sessions, and then I watch them do the total opposite, because they don't really understand. And that's why your soul needs time to heal your DNA. It's not something that all of you are expected to do in this timeline. And that's one of the main messages that they also want to give you right now. It's not going to happen for everybody, and that's not supposed to right now. The only thing that they're asking is that a certain percent of beings, if they can get themselves into 5D frequency and into 5-strand activation, then we've gotten enough light on this earth to reshift it, to be able for the planet to go through the ascension portal. And once that happens, then everyone else will be able to receive a lot more downloads and a lot more recalibration and activation through the portal opening. And at the same time, they're having many of us come in and close portals from the underworld, because the underworld is having many beings that are operating from the underworld that are trying to grab onto your chakra system and suck you into the fall state. And so it's a very complex thing. I know that not everybody is fully understanding. Um, but let me just see something here. David's asking, will you individually go through the halls of Amente in your journey to the new earth, or will it be a mass soul journey? Well, you will individually need to be prepared for that. It's an individual thing. The guardians of the galaxy allow and bring in the souls that they feel are fully ready for that, and they'll take you there and they'll reveal the things to you that you're ready to see. And it's going to happen individually. But as far as the new earth itself, that's very different than the halls of Amente. It's not necessarily really the same thing, because again, right now, the way that the highest dimension and the source is looking at the evolution of humanity at this time is that a lot of souls haven't yet gone through their full cycles in order to go into the 12th dimension or higher. They haven't had a chance yet to, a lot of them. And they want to, a source wants to allow everybody to have a full, it's like trying to force your child to graduate college before they're ready. They need the time that it takes to prepare for the classes and the tests that they're going to have. And many souls haven't gotten there yet for many various reasons. And the source doesn't want to rush any soul through that. But these other beings are trying to create interference and trying to basically take that right away from you. And so they are interfering with your ability to live freely and go through your soul evolution. So New Earth itself is a 5D frequency. It's not a 12D or a 15D frequency. It's a 5D frequency. It's higher than here, but it's not the full ascended path, but it's still enough that if you can get there, that you can live a very different reality, a very more utopian angelic reality, which is what Source originally intended for Earth to be. And so that will give the souls more opportunity then to continue to go through the original plan for their soul's evolution. Humans were originally, before we had so many things affecting our frequency, we were living 900 years on the planet or more. And now we're down to maybe 100 or less. Many right now, it's even half of that or even less. So it's a very, it's very important that you don't beat yourself up wherever you are in your spiritual journey, because you're not expected to be anything than what you are. You're not expected to know anything more than you know right now. It will come in divine timing. You have to understand everything is about divine timing. You can't force enlightenment. You can't force your way through the gates of Amente. They will never let that happen. It happens perfectly and divinely. And every soul has that capability. So when the soul's ready, it will divinely happen for you. But you're not needing to have all that right now. You're only being asked to be able to try to keep the 5D frequency, to look at truth, to remember unity consciousness. And when we talk about unity consciousness, we also have to bring in the other side of it, because again, as I mentioned in a video I posted, I think yesterday or the day before, when it comes to higher consciousness, you need to be able to see both sides of a story. You cannot get into higher consciousness if you're only seeing it from the divided mind. If you're in a divided mindset, you are you're only getting half of the story or less. You've got to be able to hold two thoughts at the same time, which means that as much as you want to hold unity consciousness in the forefront of your being and hold that vibration in yourself, you also need to understand that not everybody, not every soul that we are coming into contact with is in unity consciousness. And because they're not, they're dangerous. And as you understand that, you can love them from a distance, but that doesn't mean that you have to engage with them. It doesn't mean that you have to give your soul light to them. It doesn't mean that we, the way shores, have to sit and bleed out for somebody if they're, it's very important that you guys also understand that healers are never supposed to help somebody else more than they're willing to help themselves. So we're only here to shine light. We're only here to reflect to you truth. It's not we are not called to take a part of our being and bleed it out for somebody that is not willing to do the work. If you're not trying to do the work to help yourself and you're not reaching out for that holding hands with me to assist you, I can't. I can only shine light. I can't take my biology and give it to you because, again, because spirit is matter, even giving spirit energy all the time to somebody can take part of my physical matter from me. This is the case for all of you. So it's important that you understand that. You also need to be doing your work. You guys need to be doing your work, and you need to be trying as much as the rest of us are, because if you're not, we cannot overstep that bound. I'm very bad at that sometimes because I tend to want to give and give and give. It's very much a part of my nature, but I'm not getting it in return sometimes. So I'm always being guided to step back, to hold that balance, to protect my etheric body. And so again, spirit is matter and can be measured, and your controllers know that. Okay. I'm just going to look at a couple other messages here. Lauren, you can just order it off of the website, ellenred.com, and message me in preferably Facebook to get an appointment. And either way, I would recommend you to, whether it's an entity or whether it's unhealed energy, because they kind of go hand in hand. They can attract entities too. So again, they want me to get back to that whole discussion of how you want to be being brought into unity consciousness, but you need to understand that not everybody is in the light or operating from that. And some of the beings that are there, even in our spiritual community, are working for the NAA, and they're trying to get access to our codes. And you guys have heard me talk about this, and I'm going to tell you this is very important right now, because these beings have worked for thousands and thousands of years to create technology to be able to access the etheric spiritual body, to be able to get access to the ascended masters' ascended codes, to be able to infiltrate the higher dimensions. It's extremely dangerous. If that happens, it's a terrible thing, and it can't happen, which is one of the reasons why, although the dark side of things wanted to create the annihilation of this planet for certain reasons. They've got everything they need. They will survive it because they've planned a way for them to survive. And they have other types of programs where they can recreate new slaves if they want, but they don't want the rest of the beings here. And on the other hand, the beings of light have considered this situation and this scenario because the humans themselves, there's so many problems going on. Many of them are operating out of parasitic frequency, and in some ways, shifting into a different reality can be a possibility for humanity. So there's a lot to be said about that also. Give me just a second here. And of course, there's again many fallen angelics in the spiritual community. And the guides have told me that I need to cut the cord with those that are feeding on the ascension codes there and trying to hijack them, because they're doing great harm. The false prophets, the mediums that truly are not ascended, the ascension masters that have never ascended, can't be infiltrating our movement here. It's very dangerous, highly dangerous. So it's a very delicate thing that we're going through here, where we want to help humanity, but at the same time, we need to be very careful about the keys to the ascension portal. And that's again why the guardians of the halls of Amente are protecting the halls of Amente so very, very diligently. They don't let you there because they need to make sure that you have all of the codes first before you can go there. And that's why they want even those that are ascended to work with frequency when we teach, so that the souls that really are ready can catch the frequency of what we're saying as opposed to the words, because again, everything is frequency, even our words. And if I say a certain word, they're going to catch me in the AI system. The AI system has been created by the dark forces, and it is designed to try to capture the keys to the ascension portal. And it's very important that we don't let that happen. And so, it can be very frustrating for souls that are trying to find their way through the portal if we can't directly give them the word that they need because they want to, get the understanding. But you have to understand that that same situation can be used in a negative way too. So it's very important that we work with the frequency, which means that when you're listening, you try to understand on a soul level what's being said, and that you also ask your higher mind to give you the understanding if you don't understand something, because your higher mind will explain it to you where we don't have to jeopardize things to the negative aliens who are very much right now working through every single AI system that there is. They're in your homes now, they're on your cell phones, they're in your cameras, they're in your heating and cooling devices at home, they're in the lights on the traffic lights on the street, they're in your cars. They're everywhere, and you need to understand that certain things need to be felt and understand from an etheric level through these scalar waves, so that you get your frequency to match the higher timelines. That's part of timeline jumping. And don't beat yourself up if you don't understand it right now. That will lower your frequency to beat yourself up, okay? It's okay that you're where you're at right now. It's okay. You don't have to be an ascended master. That's really what they want you guys to understand, because I think that a lot of people in the community are thinking that that's what's being required of everyone. And I'm probably part of the problem, because sometimes I write things and I think people think, oh, that means, no, it doesn't mean. It only means that you need to try to get to that 5D energy. That's the whole 5D movement. Now, 5D is only one dimension out of many, many. But 5D is far, far higher frequency than where Earth has been for a very long time. And that's the jump that we're trying to do as a collective together. And if a certain percent can do that, the entire planet can shift and jump into the new Earth without having the other event happen. That's what we're trying to do right now. And I have him trying to say something to me, so give me just a moment here. Yeah, he's just addressing also again, reiterating that you need to take the initiative to do the steps of the spiritual work involved, whether it be studies, meditation, prayers, um, meditation. I said that twice because he did, but because you need to understand that when you're meditating, you are connecting to your higher mind. when you're praying, you're kind of talking to your higher mind and to the universe and to source, but you're not getting the message back into you. And so meditation is highly important. We recommend that you work with the Hue meditation. If you've ever heard Hue, H-U, you can type it into YouTube and work with the Hue meditation. You can also do some meditation with Mantak Chia and the six healing sounds of Mantak Chia. It's a very, very good meditation to work with. It heals and recalibrates the six main organs in your body, which bring recalibration into all of your cells. So it's a very, very, very incredible meditation to work with. I recommend that you do it sitting outside in a chair with your feet on the ground, and that you make the sounds and you feel the vibration of those sounds when you're working with the six healing sounds of Mantak Chia. Those meditations can be very helpful for you. Um, and of course, I wrote, I think today or yesterday, about the chakra healing and the auric healing, because, you guys a lot of times don't realize that you are infested with entities. And it's not necessarily your fault. You don't understand how they're coming on you. I have many, many clients. A lot of my clients are doctors and psychiatrists, and they don't have the esoteric knowledge to deal with these kinds of things, but they can feel a lot, souls can feel. You feel when something's not right with you, but you're sitting there passively just letting it happen and not seeking real guidance for it. And it's actually very terrible for you spiritually. You're not intended to be sitting there infested with entities that are harvesting your soul light. So don't be passive about it. That's absolutely insane. Insane. And I know that you guys are hearing all this chitter chatter out in the peanut gallery of the spiritual community, but you need to understand that a lot of spiritual people are working for the NAA. And we love everyone. We love everyone, even the Dracos. They're still part of God. And because of that, we love every soul, but we do not love, and we do not have to love negative things and negative energies and negative behaviors. And we cannot afford to at this time. We're in a critical state here. And this doesn't mean be afraid. It just means understand that we are in a very critical stage for humanity. And I'm sure you guys already understand that just watching and witnessing what happened the last few years, right? How many of you guys really realized that it was time to pay attention 4 years ago when things all went in lockdown? Did that get your attention yet? Because if it didn't, you are dead. You are dead at the wheel. Dead at the wheel. What can we do to guard the keys? Well, one of the things that can be done to guard the keys, and I recommend this. I made a video about this last year that talks about scrambling the AI codes. Okay. How do you scramble the AI codes? Well, right now on TikTok, there's a movement happening after the Met Gala happened. A lot of people on TikTok didn't like the fact that a lot of these celebrities are using these platforms with millions and millions of followers, and they've been harvesting soul energy from the collective of humanity forever and getting millions of dollars and all these things, and they're working for the NAA, and everybody's just worshiping them like little sheep going to slaughter. And this new generation of star seeds that has come onto this planet right now, these young 20 and 30-year-olds that are on the planet right now that are star seeds, they're coming in to clean house. And what they're doing right now on TikTok is they have this block out 2024, block out 2024. Go on X or go on TikTok and look at it. They are blocking all of the pages from these celebrities, both their personal pages as well as their businesses. They're unfollowing them and they're blocking them. And it's creating a massive upheaval in the AI world and in the algorithms. And so you see, even on Facebook and other platforms, they shadow ban me all the time. All the time. I need your guys' help if you guys are watching me to share and like and comment all the time when you see things, because I'm getting buried deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper so that nobody sees my content. And meantime, they're putting some of these, OnlyFans and some of these other NAA types up on top. And if you guys don't help with those algorithms, then the truth gets buried again, and the other gunk, Babylonian garbage, keeps recycling. Talk about karmic cycles. Everybody doesn't want to seem to leave the Babylonian satanic template. And if you don't choose to change that in yourself, you will not ascend, period. Because there's no place in the higher dimensions for Babylonian systems. But you can help by helping the way shores. You can help by sharing and liking content. You can help by blocking your attention from things that are satanic, because they feed on that even through the AI systems. It's not just the beings themselves that benefit from it. It's lots of other ones that are a part of this big collective octopus of darkness, if you will. And now we're going to talk a little bit about what that means in the spirit world, which means the big, giant demonic entities that are feeding on that they work for. Okay, which frequency do you want to plug yourself into? If you were spending $200 a month on alcohol to go to a bar to calm down and relax after work, why not take your frequency out of there and plug it into getting a healing session so that you can feed into the light instead of feeding into the dark? It's all about choice and energy. And right now they've got you over here doing this and rebuking anything over here. And that's not the way. You pull your frequency back from one and put it into the other to feed the light. Now the light community is coming together. We're working in unison and we're creating the new template. And the old will either learn how to join us or they'll fall away and they'll become space dust. And many are about to become that soon. So, oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Isis. I do appreciate it. Liking and commenting and sharing the content really helps because, again, as you guys know, I've been very under a lot of attacks lately. And speaking of which, another issue that they wanted me to cover is that the censorship issues are only going to get worse. And I mean very much worse now. Okay, it's going to get worse. I was actually banned on X yesterday for almost 12 hours or something like that. And I don't even know what I did. I shared a post. I think I know what it was. I shared a meme, and it was in relation to trying to help everybody understand the select group that's at the top of the pyramid and what they're doing. And that's the group you can't talk about or you get in big trouble. So that got me wiped off of X. And that was quite disturbing. I got a video taken down on TikTok a few days ago because I saw an article that was written by Cosmopolitan magazine, and they posted it in their Instagram page about 2 or 3 days ago. And if you look at it, it actually has a broken mirror and a woman looking into it, and they're talking about a ritual that they're doing that's for the dark forces. And when you read it, you'll understand what I'm saying. But all I did was share that they published this article and they took my video down. And it's just disturbing that they can post an article, but if I tell people that they posted it and pointed out what they're doing, then mine's taken down. And also the guides said to me, wow, look at the synchronicities. They just talked to me about this broken glass technology that's being used by the negative aliens. And when you look at the article on the Cosmopolitan magazine, they're using a piece of broken glass. And And I think you guys should pay attention to that. And if you want to see the whole thing, the video that I made that got taken down, I posted it in my Telegram account a couple of days ago. But again, yes, if you guys want to help, please do, because, all of the way showers that are out there doing this work have all been under pure hell, sacrificed everything they had, lived in our cars. We've given up everything mortal in order to be here to do this work. And we cannot continue it if you guys aren't assisting us. We need your protection too. So if somebody gets banned or something gets taken down, we need the light team to rally around us and to help fight for us. We need our content shared out there. There's a lot going on in the spiritual community where a lot of groups are blocking way showers because they're being run by negative ETs. And we want to get in there and share a cool video to try to help them get the message of light. And it's being blocked by some of the admins because maybe they don't want that way shower in there. There's a lot of imposter wannabe way showers that are infiltrating the movement, and they don't want the way showers to be seen and to be heard because they want to siphon the light and try to mimic it so that they can have what do you call it, service to self templating there. There's no time for that. That we need the support of our communities right now. That's the only way that we are going to get through this, is to come into clusters and to begin to support one another. And especially if you're seeing way showers that are putting themselves out on the front line, help them, like, comment, share, protect them, support them. If they're getting banned, fight for them, get others to fight for them. It's really important because in timelines past, and I have a Lyran here reminding me that because Lyran and a Palladian here, they're always talking to me while I'm talking to you guys. So they're also reminding us that in timelines past, not only did the Essenes have to go underground and hide information, but it's always the ones that have the courage to come out and speak the truth, that have fully got all of their codes in there, that have been burned at the stake and that have been crucified and that have been put through massive torture. And this torture is actually happening right now in China to a group called Falun Gong. Falun Gong. I hope I pronounced that right. I'm sorry if I didn't. But Falun Gong or something like that. They are light workers in China, and they're a lot of them being tortured. And so this is really important that you guys understand the risk of being in a position like somebody like me. It's very dangerous, both spiritually as well as physically, as well as just existing on this planet to bring forth this information is quite a very challenging situation to be in. And of course, we have protection, and we have light protection and galactics and angelics, but we still need your support in this reality also, because it's a very difficult stage that we're in, and there's a lot going on there. And of course, when I make a video, there's also always infiltration in the audience of NAAs and or NPCs, matrix beings, and it just depends on who they are, but there's a lot of stuff going on there where we always have to be careful. Okay. Yeah, LinkedIn has taken me off. I've lost a lot of my people, my tribe, and my accounts and my income and my livelihood by trying to speak the truth. So I'm really on hypersensitivity here of being careful because, we're in a timeline where it's going to get worse for us. And it's not getting better with our speech. I know a lot of people think that on X that you can, in certain ways you can, but certain things, certain very important truths that have to be talked about in order for clearing are being very much silenced. And so again, we can only reach out to you so much, and then you have to reach back. And that's how we're going to get through this and help you get through it. Okay. This is about planet Earth. And also, like I was saying, there's these group of wannabe mediums and wannabe ascended beings that are taking the soul light and the energy and the knowledge from the way showers and then trying to mimic it, and they're creating more layers of matrix. And we love all beings on every level, yes we do, but there's also a lot of very harmful things that are happening because of that, because they're interfering with the divine order of God's plan. God source is the only one that can choose when a soul's ready to be fully activated. And God source is the one who chooses when one is going to be called forth to be a wayshower. In all the different timelines, there's been different souls that get chosen. There's going to be future timelines too, and different souls will get chosen. And you need to understand that, because that is a holy order. And if you're interfering with that because you're trying really hard to look cool online, you're actually not looking too cool to the higher beings. It doesn't look cool to them. And so it's because it creates harm to humanity, and it also traps the etheric being of other beings, and causes more matrix distortions. So this is just what we're talking about right now. And at this timeline in the Galactic Federation, these are discussions that we're having there, and how to move around it because of the critical state that Earth is in at this time. And by the way, there's also some beings that have large audiences that work for the Zeta Grays, and they're misleading humanity, and they're getting all this siphoned energy from people, and they're literally misleading them with lots of things. So you need to make sure that whatever you're listening to, that you just take what resonates, feel it. But, be careful, but don't be so afraid of everything either. Just be careful with where you're going with things, and understand that there's a select group of true ascended masters that are in the physical form on the earth right now. A very select group of them. And there's a whole big group of light workers and energy workers and patriot types and digital soldiers that are all doing lots of good work. So there's a huge team of light beings all over the place, all in different stages of evolution. But as far as the ascended master groups, it's a small group still. And that's why what they're saying to you guys today is not to try to beat yourself up about that. You're not expected to do that. You're expected only to try to get into 5D. And I hope that that eases some of you guys' hearts, because I know that a lot of people come to me and they're like, oh no, what if I don't ascend? Don't feel like that. That's not, you have to understand the way that the spirit world sees it is you're an eternal soul. We've been at this game for billions of years, okay? Billions. You're not expected to have a full ascension process. In this timeline, you're only expected to jump into 5D for the new Earth frequency so that you can go on to new Earth, because new Earth will be the new playground, and the old ones falling away and dying, along with those that are corrupted in a very bad way. They'll have a 4,000-year cycle in a very much darker reality. And so I think that we covered about what we were intended to, just letting you know that in the astral realms right now, there's a ton of warring going on with negative beings there, that the ascended beings are warring at up there. And it's gonna unfold on the earth plane. So in the next few months, you're gonna start to see some real chaotic stuff again. And just understand, it just has to be unfolded and cleared out. Focus on the love in your heart, and focus on the eternal connection to source. Nothing else matters. You don't have to be afraid of croaking. You've all croaked before, many times. Okay, you're going to croak again. It's just croaking. It's like you just pop right out of your skin, and that's it. I watched my dog walk right out of his skin when he went down last year. I myself have done it. And by the way, when you become an ascended master, you can come in and out and pop in and out of your skin at will. That's how we remote view. You just pop out and go see other things. And so you don't have to be afraid of that. You just have to try to get your frequency into 5D and continue, healing yourself, but also continue aligning with the Christ codes, because that is the only way. And it doesn't matter what religion you are, or any of that. It matters that you're getting the true codes um, on a deep quantum level. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm sorry for the difficulty getting on. I have no idea why that happened. It just happened, probably some more interference. And, but we made it, and so that's good. And I will see you guys another time. Okay? Namaste.